Welcome back. Segment number 2. I'm Jennifer Fierro, your broad podcaster here in the Highland Lakes, joined with Dlugach, the voice of the Llano Yellow Jackets. And as we promised, we are going to get into Highland Lakes basketball now. Tournament season is just about to end with the Christmas or with the holiday break coming. These teams will take about 5 days off, and then the week between Christmas and New Year's, a lot of them will be traveling for holiday tournaments. One in particular, I think, is just playing one game. So we will get into all of that. We are going to start in Burnett County. We're going to start with the Marble Falls Mustangs, and that's because those boys, to me, had the most impressive win that I saw since last week. They beat Davenport 47-40. It was a 43-40 game with about 90 seconds left in the contest. The other team, Davenport, had the ball and forced Marble Falls to play defense for 60 seconds. In that time, Davenport got 5 shots off in that one possession. Cody Smith finally got the ball for the Mustangs. He's one of the forwards. He ended up scoring. I want to say he was fouled and scored 2 free throws to make it a 5-point game. Then he stole the ball and got the ball to Titus Willie, the sophomore guard, who scored a layup on the last play of the game to end the game. Marble Falls won 47-40. That gave Travis Crane, the head coach, his 50th win as a head coach. He's a very young guy, right? So Marble Falls will be at the Wimberley Tournament December 28th through the 30th. The Marble Falls girls beat New Braunfels High 60-35. That was a 28-22 game at the half. Marble Falls only allowed the Unicorns to score a total of 4 points in the third quarter en route to that win. Marble Falls ended up losing to Stephenville. Stephenville is a 4A team that's ranked in the 4A poll by the Texas Association of Basketball Coaches. That game was something. 29-23. The Honeybees were the winners of that one. Marble Falls had 17 turnovers in the first half. I would say about half of the turnovers I saw were unforced turnovers, meaning just bad throws. Throws that were too high to teammates, not getting the ball. It was a game that Marble Falls just gave away.
29 and 23 points. That's really low.
That
was the final?
That was the final.
Good
That should tell you. Defensively, Marble Falls played the way it wanted to. Offensively, nowhere near what they're capable of doing.
We need a shot clock, all right? We need a shot clock. Go ahead.
Okay. The Lady Mustangs will travel to one of the most prestigious holiday tournaments in the state. They are going to Mansfield, December 28th through the 30th. That is, for those of you who don't know, Mansfield is the elite of the elite typically in Texas, and sometimes they even draw in some of the best Arkansas and Oklahoma teams to play in that event. The Burnett girls, unfortunately, they were unable to play Valley Mills on Friday. That head coach had a medical emergency that simply needed to be attended to. So all 3 of those games were canceled Friday, but they did go to Conley on Monday. The Lady Dogs won big, 59-19. That was a 14-10 game at the end of the first quarter. The Lady Dogs gave up only 9 points in the second half. Conley did not score a point in the second quarter.
Right. Wow.
They are at the Leander Glen Tournament December 28th through the 30th, as are the Burnett boys. Now, the Burnett boys actually lost to Pflugerville Conley on Friday, 61-40.
That Leander Glen is a beautiful gym. I know that because Glen, for a year or two, was in Llano's district.
Yeah, that's an easy drive. That's probably about a 35-minute drive.
Very close to Liberty Hill.
Yeah, for Burnett, for sure. Okay, the Faith Academy boys hosted their own tournament over the weekend. They went 1-4, but that's not right. They had 3 losses in that, so it's 1-3. They started with a 55-34 win against Bulverde Bracken, lost to Austin Veritas 62-32, and then lost to San Antonio Homeschool 62-56 to end the tournament. The game that everybody talks about is TMI Episcopal. That was a 76-42 loss, but the reason is because of the head coach for TMI. the former small forward for the Spurs, Bruce Bowen, who won 3 championships with the Spurs and is now coaching his sons at TMI. The Faith Academy girls lost to Lago Vista 47-22 last week. Both Faith teams are at the Irion tournament, and that's in West Texas near San Angelo. A 2-day event. Both teams are scheduled to get 4 total games, and I believe that is the 28th and 29th is when they're playing.
That's really a step up to be playing Lago Vista, I would think.
Yeah, Lago is a 4A school.
Yes.
But both teams wanted to play because I know the Faith boys also played Lago Vista, and I think they won. No, maybe they lost, but barely. I'd have to go back and check. That was a close game, and that was about 2 weeks ago. Okay, the Llano girls beat Lomita 31-29 in overtime. They also beat San Angelo Lakeview 37-36. That Lakeview game was actually, I believe, at the Brady tournament. And they had lost to Abilene Cooper 68-22, Menard 47-20, Grape Creek 42-22, and Jaden 35, and I wrote 12. That may or may not be right. I want to say that was more. They scored a little more than that.
I know this, that Gwen Burnett and Avery Brooks, both starters, have been hurt. I don't know how long Gwen has been out, or if she's still out, but I know that Avery will not play until district begins January 6th. She had a foot injury.
Yeah. I believe that Gwen has missed. I don't think Gwen has played the last 5 or 6 games.
Wow.
I think she's been out that long, and I think by all projections, they're going to be ready for district. The Lady Jackets actually play a very, very good Lampasas team. I want to say that's on December 28th. That should be a very, very good test for the Lady Jackets.
That's going to be tough.
Lampasas is very, very good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then I think you've got the Llano boys stuff, so I'll give it to you.
Well, I've seen the last couple of games, not great for the Jackets. They played at rival Fredericksburg. Tim Kamen, still the head coach. He was a star there around 30 years ago. He played for his dad, who was there forever, who was a star, and he's now in, like I say, maybe his 30th year. It looks like he's about 37 years old, but I got to say hello to him. Anyway, with a 6'7" boy who looked like he was about 6'10", leading the way, the Billies won 56-38. The 6'10" youngster is Dan Schultz, so a name you'll remember. Handles himself very well on the court. So Fredericksburg won that one. Then last night, that was not last night, Monday morning, yesterday, the Jackets hosted Gatesville. You mentioned some team was ranked, I think Stephenville, in the 4A rankings, and so is Gatesville, a strong team there. They're now 16-1 after beating Llano 59-41. The Jackets, the good news is that Weston Baker is an outstanding three-point shooter and is scoring 15 to 20 points a game. The trouble is they're not getting much scoring production, Coach Powers isn't, from the rest of his team. And just to tell a few of you who may not know, his son Owen, an outstanding player, is out for the season with a meniscus tear. I saw the huge open cast that he's got on his leg, and he's not. There was some talk he might play in the playoffs. That's not going to happen. He could be ready for track. So Llano loses those 2 games, has some time off now, and certainly several weeks to go still till district, as they start 4 or 5 days after the girls.
Yeah. One note about the Llano boys, he's absolutely right about the point production. Where they really miss Owen, because Owen had been averaging about 20 points a game, that's the adjustment the Jackets have to make now. That's 20 points lost for the season, and they're still trying to figure that out. I think it's an adjustment for the boys to figure out who's going to pick up that load, and I think they're going to have 2 or 3 of those boys average a total of 20 points per game to give the Jackets an opportunity. But I still think that there's enough in both Llano teams that they're able to make a run to the playoffs and finish in the top 4 in their district to get in.
Well, I'll say for the boys, I'm still hoping that the run that they make in the district will be for the championship, because they will not play anybody as good as Fredericksburg and Gatesville, I'll assure you. So I have hopes in that way. And you're right about that. And a couple of boys coming back from football, their scoring certainly will improve.
I will say I do think the toughest schedule played by any team is actually the Marble Falls Lady Mustangs. They have played at least 2 teams ranked in the top 20 in 4A, and that doesn't count the tournaments that they've played in. That doesn't count who else they've played, who's also ranked in other classifications. I think that will bode well for the Lady Mustangs. I'm curious, though, to see, because they played a lot of games and have traveled quite a few distances. I'm curious to see what shape they'll be in early January when they play the Lady Dogs to start District 24-4.
Oh, they're all just kids. They'll be in great shape, I'll assure you.
Well, that will be a marquee matchup for sure. Okay, I am ready to wrap this up. Enjoy your holidays, everyone. I am sending tons of blessings your way to you and to yours. Here's hoping that everything you want for your holiday, you get that in bodes. And especially those of you who have suffered losses this year, you are especially in my prayers. For Art Dlugach, I'm Jennifer Fierro, your broad podcaster here in the Highland Lakes. Please make sure to like, subscribe, and share the channel. And also, go to TexasChalkTalk.com for all of your Highland Lake sports news.